Hello, Slow Parenting family from across the globe. Thank you for joining us at this time. My name is Theo Richie Adeusi. Welcome. This is our program, the Slow Parenting podcast. And today we are going to get on with another talk about some parenting hacks that would help us to get on with doing our parenting jobs. Okay. And today we're going to be looking at the issue of living beyond self. You know, we when we talk about parenting, um, the focus seems to be, or the idea seems to be, that we're just talking about ourselves and our children. What about the other family members? Today we're going to touch something that some people maybe have done away with completely, or that's on its way out of the menu list of most family. I choose my word when I say most families. Um, we have replaced that with I, me, myself, and my children mentality. That's not who we are. That's not community. Family is about connectivity. We live for ourselves. We live for our family members. Okay, as we're growing up, we used to be told that, okay, well, you're going to marry, okay, your wife is not your wife, it's our wife. And your husband is not, it's a son. Okay, which means that, extended family member, especially the grandparents, should feature in our calculations about family dynamics. Uh, in this podcast, we're going to look at why you should consider your grandparents or the grandparents, grandaunt, granduncle as important factors in your parenting jobs, especially or even as it concerns your children. Okay. We've often talked about, you know, uh, getting on with doing your parenting job, having your family value, your traditional values, your cultural values and etiquettes as backdrops for your parenting jobs. Gear is the institution that helps you to sustain those or to that you can leverage resource for. They are the grandparents, the aunties, the uncles. Okay, but modernity has, if you like, inflicted some of us with the malady of considering our parents as, well, distant relations. I do not I do not want to use any heavy, pungent word or terms to describe how some people, some parents, regard their own parents within their homes, within their marriages, within their family, their nuclear family. Yes, your nuclear family is your family, but your extended family, at least as far as it extends to your parents, is still your family and is very important. It's important for the emotional balancing of the children and even yourself. You often wonder why in some cultures you find grandparents moving in across continents to go to live with their children. So oftentimes when you go into shopping malls, you see a whole family, father, mother, grandfather, grandmother, children, several generations, multiple generations, mall. All there's 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 a feeling of well-being that comes with that. And we're bringing this up, especially at this time of the year. It's almost Christmas. Okay. It's the Yuletide across the world. It's not everybody in the world that celebrates Christmas, but it's a holiday. It's a global holiday, no matter what part of the world you are in. Okay. So what's your plan? What's your plan for Christmas? Are you going to go see your parents or are you going to invite them? Either way, it's healthy for your children. It's healthy for you. Um, as we proceed in the program, I will share personal experiences and how that impacted on my own idea of parenting and what also did my own children concerning that it's not automatic. It doesn't mean that the children will automatically get to understand that it's still a battle. You still have to do your bit and hope for the best. But don't fail to do your bit. Don't get into the habit of or practice of, you know, distancing yourselves, your family, your immediate family from your parents. Let your children, okay, know their grandparents. No, not video call. Especially if you are within the same geographical environment and you can afford to, you know, accommodate people, your parents, at least over this short period of time, or you can travel with your children to go be with your parents at this time. It has immense value, it's immense benefits. Okay. But then if you can't afford, if you maybe live in different continents, that might be a challenge because it wouldn't just be as easy as cost of transportation. That's going to be talks about visas and applications and all of that. Just take that. When you live within the same geographical environment where visas are not required for you to travel or for them to travel to be with you, work to make your parents being with your children a reality as often as possible. Even if you can't live in the same place, um, most times you can't. Even if you had all it takes, all it took, all it would take for you to bring your parents to come live with you and your children. It's if your parents, if your mother was like my mother, it's gonna happen. Okay, I will come into that. But then we'll make sure that even with um, those scenarios, we worked at getting our children to know our mother. Some of you are lucky to have both parents around while your children arrive, but while your children are growing up, you don't know how lucky you are. You don't realize how lucky. There are things that is only your parents that can do concerning your children. When it comes to the cultural, traditional, and value issues, there are things you might have taken for granted and forgotten a little. But the grandparents have a way of bringing those things to bear on your children and pressing the reminder button for you, which would then bring you up to speed even when they might have returned home or you return to your bases if you did go to, if you did travel to go to be with them during the festive period. Okay? I mentioned my mother. Let me start from ourselves, myself, when it was growing up. Our mother made it a point of duty for us to be with our grandparents every festive season. Even if she were busy herself, she often was. She would have gone shopping package things for that pack is for aunt so person, uncle that, and that is for your grandfather, this for your grandmother. You package all of them and you buy us train ticket and put it on the train. And would arrive in the town where our grandparents lived. And most times they will be at the station waiting for us. Somehow, well, then it was about telegrams, okay, that they would send. So they would know when we're arriving. And they would be at the train station. It was so joyous. I can't forget those feelings. Even the anticipation we're going to see grandma, going to see grandpa. The feeling of family, you can't beat it. I can't forget it. Even as an adult, even as a grandfather. So it's you can't replace it with anything else. And then we'll go, usually it's Christmas or Easter, there are always special meals to be prepared. And as we're arriving, our grandma knew what each of us liked and would have gotten some, you know, of what those things were for each of us. This is serious. I make bold to say that 98%, 98, I'm not joking, 98% of my entrepreneurial drive is from my grandmother. The remaining percent, 1% from my father, 1% from my mother. But that too, somebody had infused that into them somehow. In the midst of, would have forgotten about our mother, would have forgotten about her, okay? But in the hoopla of everything happening, you know, she was suddenly arrived. And everybody was, the whole family complete. Don't deny your children the joy, the benefits of relating with their grandparents. It's not a feeling you can replace with anything. And then, whether it's for Easter or Christmas, the Sunday of whichever one it is, we arrive what we chase in our Christmas call, our Easter clothes, we're going to church. And our grandma would, everybody get ready. I don't want to be late. Who tells children who they are, as in within the family hierarchy? You know, that's your uncle, that's your aunt from so place. And then my mother came from a tightly knit extended family network from the southeastern part of Nigeria. And during those festivity times, we would go from one village to the other. We're happy. All our cousins will be meeting them, getting to know them. Uh, don't get me wrong. I'm not telling you here that it was everybody we met that we like, or everybody that met us that was always like these city boys. They have cocktail wild boys. Yes. All four of us, well, that kind of blew up around the same time. We're all boys. At seven, mother had seven children. Six of us were men, or are men. Six of us are still here. We've only lost our sister, was the second born. We would go from one family extended family grouping, one village to the other, one village to the other. As we're making those contacts, we're learning things about the culture, the tradition. We're bonding. Okay. I have cousins today that the bondings of those years, they too were grandparents now, on their own, but the bondings of those periods had not disappeared. We've kept them, even when sometimes some of us are in entirely different continents across it. But thank God for technology. We keep relating, we keep linking up, and then we have the opportunity to also see their own children, grandchildren, their children, their grandchildren. 2 weeks ago, well, almost 2 weeks ago, on my birthday, one of my cousins that offered, volunteered to speak about our grandmother, her entrepreneurial drive. As we were discussing, that it, and I said to her, like, I think she was saying, "Oh, that person's done." I'm like, wow. I'm like, that's a problem. There could be problem going forward. Okay, why don't you ask one of your children to start up a WhatsApp group for their cousins, whether second cousin, third or fourth cousins, so that at least they know themselves, so that people do not meet themselves outside and they don't even know that they are related. And some things that shouldn't happen now get happen. For instance, relatives getting into relationship with themselves without knowing that they are related. It's common because people are not relating. If you get your children to have a relationship with your parent, that's not likely going to happen. At least, well, not in the immediate. It's not likely going to happen because your parents will keep like, that's the auntie, that's uncle. I used to be upset. Even my father in the southwestern part of Nigeria, I used to travel with him often. Back home in the eastern part, we had village. In the southwestern part, we had towns. Okay, in Nigeria. So when we traveled home, when I traveled home, most times, or when I traveled home either with my father or going to go join him, it's always like, that's your uncle X, that's your aunt Z, that's, and those aunties and uncles, it's like their own children, their own child. But let's not digress too much. My main focus on this podcast today is about your parents, your children's grandparents. Both parties, both couples, both spouses should be able to have an understanding and agree that it's useful, it's necessary for your parents or for the grandparents to to visit, or sometimes there's nobody with them. If you can afford it, they live with you. It's not African. It's a very own African thing to put our parents in care homes. It's not. It's not an African thing. Okay. And a number of Asian cultures, same thing. They will live with a grandparent, great grandparent in the same, you know, building, same environment, same apartment, and everybody would know their role. The grandparents oftentimes had babysitter. There's a benefit that brings to the grandparents. It keeps them busy. It keeps them healthy. It keeps them to live longer. There's a joy. There's a sense of well-being that comes from that acceptance from first from the children, the you as the children of your parents first. And there's a greater sense of well-being that comes from my grandchildren. So when you say you don't have time, or I'm a single mother, or even if you are not a single mother, a single father, you have your parents, you put them somewhere, and you say, "Oh, I don't have to do this daycare, that." You could be doing yourself more than one set of good by bringing your parents to be with you. Don't say, "Oh, she's difficult. She brought you up. He's so impossible." Well, he trained you. If you look deep enough in the mirror, you probably see the real person. Uh, when you say, "My mother is impossible, my father is so difficult." When you go to the mirror, you could be looking at your father and your mother when you look deep. Yeah. Okay. It's a symbiotic thing. There's no parasitive, you know, living out of any. Besides, it's not a choice thing. You are obligated to take care of your parents. So if you are in a position that you could bring them to come to live with you, that will serve you a lot of good, especially during this festive period. So that you bring them to be with you, your home, or you prepare to go to be with them with your family. I talked about us growing up and what our mother used to do with us. Sometimes all of us travel with her, everybody. She has time, everybody go together. But most times, as I can remember, most times she will send us up front and then arrive later. And I'm talking about my mother. I need to explain this, okay? Nigeria had a very unfortunate civil war that cost a lot of lives that Nigeria has not recovered from even as of today. So because of this civil war, my father was from the southwestern part of Nigeria. My father had to leave the southeast, where he has established his business, well, family. He had to leave to go back to the southwest because his in-laws would have killed him. That's how atrocious that whole thing. And like I said, Nigeria hasn't recovered. So throughout the duration of that civil war, and for a few years after the civil war, we had first our mother and our grandparent, our maternal grandparent. And when I say a few years, it didn't take a few years for our father to come, come to check. You are alive. The Civil War ended in 1970. He drove with his driver. If any people watch any war movies, you will see how easy it is for people to move from one location to the other, in the midst of conflict. The conflict wasn't 100% complete over. It ended in 1970. Before the end of that year, our father had traveled from Lagos to Kosawu village near Aba in the present Abia State, southeastern Nigeria. And that everybody was completed. But again, the divide that had already been established by politicians, but that's another story, which is so an entirely different thing from where we're at today. But the family bonding that our grandparents brought to bear on us rubbed off so much so that as we began to have children, we also made it a point of duty to mostly travel. Everybody, most times, all of us, all our mother's children, arrive about the same time and the whole place will be filled up. And of course, it impacted on our mother. She lived to be 102 years old before she passed. She led a very active life. Even at that one, too, there was never a case of, well, caution because she was distracted. Her grandchildren were always around her because there were some of us who were, you know, based in the southeast there, where she was and lived all through her life. And there were most times with her in the village. There was always a grandchild. There was somebody with her. So much so that, you know, yes, there are times when we say, Mama, it's your come now, you're going to come visit us. Yeah, we could house her, any of us could have housed her where we live. Like I said at the top of the program, it's up to you if it was about my mother. It's not up to you. And my mom, the um, well, you have to go into that negotiation for some time. And when she eventually says, "Okay, I'm going to come and visit you," she will tell you from the one as she arrived. She will tell you the day she's leaving. So if you are wise, you put whatever it is, whatever. Even if you are going to go bring the World Bank to go to give her, if it is a day or an hour after the day she said she was going to leave, or keep it, she will leave. Well, you could say, okay, well, we will delay. Okay. For every day you delayed my mom, she will not eat. So you don't have a person now, you have to let her go. Yes. Okay. But everybody is not like all grandparents. It's not that she didn't want to stay with us or with her grandchildren. It's just that that's just kind of person she was not comfortable in her own. And then we'll tell the grandchildren, when are you coming to see grandma? They will say, Christmas. We've heard, would have heard. So we made those plans. At the times she had agreed with the children, we would travel to go be with her. Okay. But let's come back here now. Press time. If Even if you're not living in your home country and where you are living there legally, you are properly documented. Most governments have fast track, you know, travel provision for parents, for biology, for parents, for your blood relations, for your parents. So if you say you are having stress over taking care of your children while working, and you know your parents are where they are, and you are in a position to apply for them joining you, and you don't do it, you're only stressing yourself, and you're denying yourself and your children of very vital ingredients, if you like, for family bonding. For you, you are denying yourself the ready help, all round help that your parents could give you. The peace of mind they would bring to the table while you have gone to work. But then it's not as easy as that. If you didn't set out to get your children to know your parents and get for them to go, grandma, I want to talk to grandma, you have you might have a problem in your hands, even if you could afford to bring your parents. Some children might not want your parents around. But guess whose fault that will be? It will be your fault. So please, you have a duty to get your children to be used to your parents. Number one, don't talk derogatively about your parents, either in the presence of your children or at any time for that matter, because your children are listening to hear. Oh, grandma, no, you will come here. Literally say grandma is always a troublemaker. So if she comes here now, she will make trouble. So don't do that. They will repent you. And then you could muscle your way. This is your house, it's your home. You are the bill payer, and you bring your parents. And you'll be shocked one day when you hear, grandma, you are such a troublemaker. Hello, what did you say? Yes, mommy said you're such a troublemaker. You have an issue in you. If your mother were to be my mother, she will leave your home that day, no matter what time of day it is. And she most likely will not return to the city. Well, none of us has. Because we got our children to know our mother. Like I said, unfortunately, our children, most of our children did not know our father. Our father died a little bit, but were passed on a little earlier than our mother. Our father passed on in his late 60s. But our mother lived to be 102. She made a habit of shortening. We made a habit of shortening, being with her, she being with us. So the children learned from that. As a matter of fact, most times, either we travel to go to be with her or she traveled to come to be with us. The children don't even know you exist anymore. It's grandma they want. And it's like that. Why is that so? Because they saw your relationship with them. And again, it rubs off from them and their own future relationships with other people, especially when they begin to build their own families and have their own children. There are things your parents will teach your children which you can teach your children, which you might not remember. It's not that you can't teach them, but it might not just what you are thinking about. But they are there. My mother go like, excuse me, is this how you people are doing? Is this how you people are living here? Mama, what is that? Uh, she will say, oh, um, okay, no, 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 come. Okay, don't worry. Come. Hmm? Maybe your mother and the father is not there. This is who we are. This is okay. When a woman sits down, hmm, she sits with her legs closed properly. She will go to the girl child, show her practically how to sit. Our mother would then take the boy children, and come here. Where are you going to with their hair like that? Come, give me comb their hair. So automatically they know that grandma, oh, I have to comb my hair before grandma's. Self care, etiquette. But now who is teaching our children? The internet. You can do something about that. If you are lucky to have your parents still around, still alive, besides, they need the company. Your parents, they need the company. And your children need the bonding with or from their grandparents. That's it. I can't say it enough. There's a sense of well being that comes with that for all involved. And everyone in that relationship will be better off for it. Hired day caregivers cannot, it's just a job they are doing. Yeah, it's just a job. So any pay, they clock in the number of hours, manage for the hours to complete, and well, they're not there. They're not there to tell your children or anything. First of all, they don't believe what you believe in. They're not most times they're not from where you are from. They don't know anything about you or your culture and all. So why deny your children that grounded learning opportunity that your parents bring to the table, even if it's once in a while, especially even when it is the first period. Okay. You're also teaching your children. You would also, by that, be teaching your children what, how they should relate with you. You will get all yourself. Remember, sure, you will. If you do not build a bridge with your own between your parents and your children, you might end up being a very lonely person in your own old age. But make your parents relevant to you. Let your children see your relationship with your own parents. They will learn. They will learn. And don't assume it. Don't assume it. Vocalize it. Say, we're going to see grandma. Who knows why we're going to see grandma? Who needs grandma? Who wants grandma? They will say their own thing. What do you want to say to grandma? What are you going to buy for grandma? They would go shopping. Each person is picking something for grandma or grandpa. Yeah. You are teaching them that when it becomes their turn, you become a grandparent. They are parents. Their own children, they would also be able to teach them to do the same things. You. But if you fail to do that, you would have broken the bridge. Yeah. You don't assume what you do not put in place, don't assume that it's going to happen just by happenstance. Sometimes it will happen. Sometimes things just happen. But don't take anything for granted. Let your children know, relate, bond with your parents for as much as you can afford it. Affordability in this case could be in that if you are in different continents. If you live in the same country and it's just a case of about different cities, you shouldn't have too much of an excuse for yeah. Yeah. Some people go 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 years, 5 years, especially with phone now and video calls. The grandparents are there. Some are even in the same city. But because when I feel, oh, your mother is Captain Carol's, she can't be here. Or your dad is just so impossible. Nobody can place him. He shouldn't be here. When you do that, your spouse, your partner also, I mean, because if you can't do it, if I can't do it, you can't do it. So you are there with your children alone, isolated, detached from their roots, from the network of family bonding. You shouldn't let that. It's not a healthy lifestyle for anyone. Okay? It is the given season. If you haven't started, you know what they say? It's never too late to start. As you're making your shopping list with your children, have a cup. Grandpa, grandma, auntie, relation as you can afford. Usually, it's not about the gift. It's not about the amount. It's not about how much you spend to buy a particular gift. It's about the gesture. It's about that you remember somebody and you pick up something and you are letting your children know that it makes sense to remember others. Yes, periodically to go into a shop, either online or physically in shop, and pick up gifts and wrap them, label them, or put in the addresses to say delivered to this address. They learn. Guess who could be or would be at the end of those melts some years down the road? It could be you. It should be you. It would be you. But if you do not put that practice in place now, it might never get to be you. And then you begin to wonder, "Ah, what might have gone wrong?" I will touch on another aspect of this whole issue of bonding with our parents, bonding with our grandparents, still in the area of giving. Some of us, our parents are well to do. They have money. They could buy anything they want. they would feel very uncomfortable maybe to even come to stay with you. Some can't even come to stay with you at all. So for those who can, I just gave an example with my mother. She can manage to come to stay with you. Why can't? Well, why would she tell you, well, I'll only be here for 1 week? Why would she say that? She's comfortable in her home. Yes, she's comfortable. So she will tell you, I'm only going to be here for 1 week. You guys, please remember that. And she's not joking. She was never joking. So for such parents, make a habit of getting the children to get ready and keep telling grandpa, grandma, your grandchildren are coming to visit you so tired. They will not agree. You go. That's one. Two, because they have money or they could afford anything that they or would or should want, does not mean they do not deserve to get gifts. Oh, some children are like, what are we going to? He has all the money. We don't value. It's not your business. Whether the person's going to value whatever it is or not, it's not your business. Teach your children that. The important thing is you have gone shopping, you have picked this thing, you have labeled it. It's grandpa, grandma, Aunt Mary, Aunt Elizabeth, Uncle Simon, Uncle John. You, they know. It's a culture, it's a tradition. Learn it. You're also telling them that at some point in time, it will be your name, Grandpa Richie, that will be on that gift from them, on their own child. Because it's a tradition you had taught them. They had witnessed, they had practiced, they saw you practicing it. Don't bother yourself with what that person going to receive the gift is going to do with it or not do it. It's not your business. Don't bother with how many millions or billions of dollars that person has or doesn't. Do yours. It's a gift. Let your children learn the art of giving, especially from their pocket money. Encourage them to go pick up. When you go shopping, it's okay. Or you could maybe even give them some extra money at about that time and say, we're going shopping with you. Take $10, $10. Take, okay, watch. Why are you going to pick for grandma? They'll go there, they'll start looking. Don't assume they will remember. Some will remember, some might not. Some will prefer to use your $10 to go and buy keys at. And but they remember, remind them. You know, we're going to go visit grandma, or grandma is coming, or grandpa is coming, or where are you going to buy for him? What do you buy for her? And they make their own shopping lists. Grandma, buy, buy the wrapping papers. Let that culture of giving be established. Sustain it. You are sustaining it for yourself. I'm not saying the reason you must do it is because no, but that's what you're actually doing as well by extension. But if you don't, you leave your children to behave and believe that they just draw from mass, don't have relations. And maybe when your mother, your father eventually arrive one day to work with them, please, who is that? This is your grandmother. Grandma, there's no relationship. Start early. Let your children know your parents. Let them know their extended family members as much as possible. Let them learn how to get gifts for other family members. Let them learn giving from that. Let them learn how to accommodate others from how you accommodate your parents to how you relate with your parents in their presence. It would leave a lasting impression, or it will leave lasting impressions in their mind. They will grow up and live and run with it. I have grandchildren today. It was so heartwarming when my last granddaughter, got on camera on my birthday. I say, thank you all for attending my grandpa's 65th birthday. God bless you. And lastly, she said, happy 65th birthday, Grandpa. No gifts. No gift is good. No, there's nothing I received that day that was bigger than that. And we are in two different continents. Imagine what would have happened if all of us were to be in the same place. So that you are far away from your parents, that your children are far away from their grandparents should not be an excuse. By the way, that my granddaughter that prayed that prayer or gave that vote of thanks was giving birth to in my absence. I've never met her physically, but that she grew. She'll be the one when the parents call, they are talking with me. I want to talk to grandma. I want you hear them pressing them from behind. Alakiti, come, come. Yeah. Well, she's a little. She's about 5 years, 4 years, 5 years now. When she was much younger, it used to be a lot of hassle. She would stress them with until they bring her to the camera. And then, you know, that should be you. Okay, that should be you. I think about them now. I will do everything to have all of them here. Okay, well, I happen to be one of these parents. I can't go to live with them. It's not possible. Even if I were back in Nigeria, I can't go to. They will be the ones to come to live with me. Okay, so don't worry. We understand that. Then you make it happen. My first granddaughter is I have a very beautiful picture of herself and I when she was about 3 years. She insisted she wanted to be with grandpa. The parents took her that time, brought her that time to be with me and left and went back to work. Two different locations in Nigeria, two different cities, two different towns in Nigeria. She stayed with me, didn't miss them, didn't miss the parents. And we went everywhere together, played together. When when it was Christmas Day, we dressed up in costumes, just generally had fun together. And today, even with my not being on the same geographical location with them, she looks forward to grandpa. She, this is what happened. School, what she would, you know, relate things as if she's there with you. Why? Her mother, who's my daughter, had that upbringing of my parents are important. Grandma would all shop, package ourselves, whether we're traveling, driving, or we're going by public transport, all of us, and we arrive, and they're happy with their grandmother. Or their grandmother have some very beautiful pictures of the last time their grandmother came to visit us. Okay, as we went to see her off to return, the picture that all of them, all the people in those pictures now, have their own maybe children. But when I look at these pictures, it gladdens my heart the kind of relationship my children had with mother before she passed. What kind of relationship are your children having with your parents? It should be such that should make them remember you in your own old age. Okay? And so that is it for our show today on this podcast, the Slow Parenting Podcast. I had a video I had wanted to play for you about this, but for technical reasons, we couldn't take that video today. Okay? Maybe sometimes it's okay. Well, this was the video we're talking about. So uh, look at the benefits of, according to some other content creators. So you see, and also um, be able to benefit from the issues raised in that video. But for us today, I believe that we have gotten to let you know the reasons for which you should make your parents, your children, grandparents part of your family. Let them know them, bond with them, let them learn how to give gifts to them, which will pave the way for how their own grandchildren will relate with you as you become grandparents also. Okay? Thank you for being here with us today. Remember to join us again next Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, US and Canada, and 7 p.m. West African time, including Nigeria, on this Slow Parenting podcast. Don't forget to please, 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 please subscribe to support this podcast, and then share this podcast to your friends. Okay? Leave your comments and engage to become a member of our community. Ask any questions you have on parenting issues. It doesn't have to be about this particular episode. It could be about anything parenting. Just go to the comment section, or you could go to any of other social media handles and leave your comments. We always respond. So thank you so very much for being part of our show today. My name is Richie Adeusi. Till we meet again next week and the next podcast. Stay well, be good. Merry Christmas.